Mr. Gerard, I want to ask you your experience in this as well. Natural gas, $2.50 at MCF, was 14, driven by speculation?
Well, what's happened, Congressman, as you well know, in this country, because on state and private lands we're producing trillions of cubic feet of natural gas, there's been recent announcements by a number of major manufacturers who are going to bring jobs right back here to the United States because the market has driven the price of natural gas down to where it's affordable, it's reliable, and if we're allowed to produce it in this country, it has multiple implications for us: job creation, revenue to governments, and energy security.
So supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
$2.50, not some bogeyman on Wall Street.
In fact, yes, Congressman, if I can, I don't want to take your time, but there's an experience we have in July of 2008 that was alluded to earlier that we ought to go back and look closely at. The price of crude oil drove to $145 a barrel. Then President Bush announced the opening of the Outer Continental Shelf and lifted the moratorium. The price of crude oil over 3 days dropped $15 a barrel and continued to move down. Markets are driven on a global basis by expectation. If the market heard the President of the United States say, "I'm serious about producing my vast energy resources," you will see an impact in the market.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would love to see that from our president. Let me talk for a second, Mr. McNally. You talked a little bit about the strategic petroleum release. We had one during my time in Congress last year. To what effect?
The release you're referring to is a sale of 30 million barrels announced on June 23rd of 2001, and the price of oil dipped for 4 days and then made a new high.
And the president continues to talk about an additional release from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. What would your expectation be that would result from such a release?
In my view, as long as the underlying supply-demand fundamentals remain tight, and as long as the prospect of a potential conflict remains with Iran, were we to release oil now and achieve a day or two dip in supply, we would be releasing cheap oil to traders who would buy it and expect to profit from it later this year.
Great. Not a very effective thing for folks who are driving their cars around, or Mr. Milburn, who's got to drive his vehicle around and deliver product to all consumers all across the country.